Hey y'all. So there's been a lot of chatter, after the election related to people wanting to know what they can do now. Other people that are not people of color are trying to figure out how we can all work together. So today we're going to talk about allyship. Hopefully I can shed some light on this situation. So let's talk about what allyship is. An ally is someone who helps and supports others who are a part of a group that is being treated badly or unfairly, although they themselves are not a part of that group. Allyship is the practice of unlearning and reevaluating oneself to operate in solidarity, okay, with a marginalized group. It's an opportunity for personal growth and community development. But to sum it up, allyship is active. Active. That's the main word here. Active support for the rights of a minority or marginalized group without being a part of the group or a member of the group. Active is the word here. Okay. Now, some barriers to allyship, let's be clear: racism, privilege, complacency. So, everybody knows what racism is, and a lot of times there's this term that's around called reverse racism. Let's be clear: people of color don't have a lot of power, right? Racism is a construct. It is literally a structure or system of things that work out for a certain group of people. Minorities don't have that system. We don't have that power or that privilege. So therefore we can't be racist. We could be prejudiced, but we can't be racist. So let's be clear on that. Privilege. When I look at privilege, I know a lot of people like, I wasn't privileged. I was raised, low income. I was raised without this or that. I don't have any privilege. Yes, the color of your skin gives you a privilege. To me, this is just me. The privilege looks like to me like the benefit of the doubt. So if we were both going for a job and say I had more experience, more accolades, I had all of these things going on, right? But you came into that, maybe not having as much as I do, but they would prefer to trust you with the job. You would get it. You would get the benefit of the doubt. And the benefit would be, well, I trust her. I feel like she could do a good job here. I feel like we would be on the same team. I feel like we can work to grow her into what we want in the position, as opposed to choosing someone who looks like me that may already have all the credentials and all of that. Because again, the benefit of the doubt is with you. With me, it's a doubt. I doubt that she'll do the job. I doubt that she'll do it the way we want her to do it. I doubt, you get what I'm saying? Complacency. Now, I look at complacency like this. Many of us have family members and friends who don't agree with us, right? We have family members and friends that say a lot of underhanded, backdoor crap about people. And we don't challenge it. We just stay silent. We just say, we agree to disagree. Well, here's the thing. That's what keeps racism going. Because you're sitting in a situation, you're sitting at the table with your loved ones, and your loved ones are talking about monkeys and saying that black people look like whatever. And you're like, you're not laughing at it. You're not saying anything. You're just sitting there like, I don't agree with this, so I'm just going to stay out of it. That is how racism continues. And that does put a monkey wrench in allyship. Another thing I have to say that's a barrier to allyship is a lot of people that say they are allies. There's a lot of people, well, I'm an ally, I believe, but there are a few things that go with allyship that people are not doing. Okay, so let's talk about it. First of all, anti-racism. Let me give you the definition of that. It is a practice. Practice identifying, challenging, preventing, eliminating, changing the values, the structures, the policies, programs, practices, and behaviors that perpetuates racism. Now, when I talked about complacency, in a lot of ways, people are sitting in complacency when it comes to that. If you're in the workplace and you see somebody not being treated fairly, a lot of people turn a blind eye. That's not my problem. It has nothing to do with me. You see someone on the street that's being harassed, You turn your head. That's not my problem. I don't know that person. These are ways that racism continues, okay? And this does put a barrier between allyship as well. Now, how to be a good ally? Number one, you have to have a willingness to learn and change. A lot of times, what I have learned doing diversity trainings is that people they end up being they take it into themselves like, oh, I didn't do it. Maybe my ancestors did, but I didn't do it. Or it's something like, oh, well, I didn't know that. I need somebody to teach me how to do it. Here's the thing. There is a do unto others as you would have them do unto you, right? That's like the golden rule. If you would not be okay with someone saying or doing something to you, right? Or saying or doing something to a family member of yours, or hearing those things about someone that you love, why would it be okay for you to hear it, witness it with someone else? Why would it be okay for somebody to call somebody a name, like completely murdering someone's name, or calling them a woman when they're a man, or things like that? Why would that be okay? Would you be okay with someone doing that to you? Would you be okay with somebody doing that to your family? Okay. You have to think about that. And you have to not be on the defensive when someone is trying to teach you something about the ways that you may have played a part in this. Now, again, we all play a part in it in some way or another, but complacency really has been the biggest barrier. You have to actively listen and not listen to respond, again, not on the defensive, but listen to what people are saying. Watch what's happening around you. Really get connected with what you're seeing out here. Like, don't assume that you know, because again, you're coming from a place of privilege. You're not coming from a place of diversity or from a place of being in the shoes of someone that's going through it. Their experience is going to be different than yours. Their viewpoint, their perspective is going to be different than yours. So to actively listen to them is really important. Having humility and self-reflection. Again, you have to take the defensiveness out to be, self-reflective and to show humility or be humble. Again, you have to look at, like, how did I play a part? How do I play a part in this system that's oppressing people every day, right? You have to take action. Again, as opposed to sitting there and listening to those vulgar stories at the table and how Black people ain't this or that, or Spanish speaking people are this or that, and all of this, and not saying anything, not joining in, but also not challenging it. You're being complacent. You're not taking action. Using your privilege. Use your privilege to speak to the thing. If you see something going on, speak up about it. Do not be complacent. Again, don't say this is not my problem. Because here's the thing, racism is everybody's problem. And here's why. It's really a problem that white people have to deal with because it's their problem. Okay? This is an illness that is rampant in the white community, but it affects other people. Okay? So it's like, how can I explain it? It's like gun violence in a neighborhood. Yeah, you may not know the person who's shooting. You may not even know the person that's being shot at. But in your community, you're listening to this, you're hiding from it, whatever the case, it is affecting you. It is affecting you. It affects all of us. Racism keeps companies, honestly, from being able to get the best people in place, because in their head, the best people are people that look like them, but that keeps them to be limited on their approach and limited on their perspective, because there are other perspectives out there. There are other people out there that have other things to bring to the table that can only better the company and grow the company. Same thing with families. A lot of families like to stay within their own thing. They don't want to go and get someone from another race and all this, but it can grow the perspective. It can grow the knowledge and the skills of said family, of said company, of said things, if we were more inclusive. Now, one active way that you can be an ally is to speak up when you see something happening. If you see somebody being bullied, speak up. If you see somebody being abused and used, speak up. If you see somebody dealing with microaggressions on the job, speak up. Call it what it is. Do not allow it to stay uh, underneath the surface and pretend it's not your problem because it doesn't affect you. Everything affects us. And understand this, there is really no such thing as race. We made that up along the way up. Somebody made it up. Okay? We are all one race. We are all the human race. Okay? And unfortunately, we have kind of set ourselves up where if you're this color, then you have these privileges. If you're a little bit darker, it's okay, just as long as you're not as dark as a brown paper bag. And so you get this kind of privilege, and then on and on and on. If you speak another language, then some privileges be taken away from you. If your last name is like this, those kind of things. And this is a way that people have decided who is going to be worthy in the society. And that's not okay. That's not okay. Now, me as a Black woman, I will say, as a social worker and a Black woman, I have so many different perspectives because I've seen it from so many different levels with my clients. And I understand how this whole thing works. And a lot of Black women understand we're normally on the front line with everyone because we understand from a perspective of being Black. We also understand being a woman, right? It affects us differently. We understand that even though we may be the most educated in your organization, we're also the less paid, right? And then we have to make it stretch. A lot of people thought that, in not, voting for Kamala, that the Democrats or the Black people basically would be, it's like a slap in our face. But we understood that it affects everyone. We understand that all of us are going to have to pay a price. As Black community, I will say this: we are a resilient set of people, and we have the ability to move through a lot of different things, a lot of adversity, because that muscle has always had to be used. And so for us, it's just another day in the park. For us, it's just another opportunity to have victory, really. But for other people that we try to protect, other people that don't see it the way we do, other people that haven't experienced it the way we have, we did try to go all the way in. So today, I say we are allies. Yes, we are allies for everyone. We love everyone. We want everyone to shine. We know there is room for all of us. And unfortunately, that has not been the case for us. Okay? Now, the scripture I'm going to use today, is 1 John 3rd chapter 17th verse, and it says, "But whoever has the world's goods and sees his brother in need and shuts up his heart from him, how does the love of God abide in him?" So a lot of people said that, they voted a certain way or whatever because of money. Oh, I need this, I need that, the cost of this, the cost of that. There are consequences to everything, right? If you have what you need and you know that the decisions that you make could affect someone negatively, it could send someone back to a war zone, it could hurt someone and kill their family, it could separate their families, it could bring them such distress that it can be painful for generations. And then you decide, well, I would rather vote this way because I need more money. But this is something that's going to affect someone's livelihood. That's something that you might want to think about. And again, I'm not on my soapbox today. Honestly, I feel like having to do this video is very sad, but it has to be done. So I want you to think about the allyship, okay? Remember, it's time for action. You can say all day long that you support. You can say all day long that you're in solidarity with the people, right? But your actions have to speak louder than your words. And I think that at this point now, that's where we are. If you're an ally, let your actions speak. No, you don't have to tell us you're an ally. We'll see it. Okay? Now, the song for the day is Stand Up for Something. You can have all the money in your hands. All the possessions anyone could ever have, but it's all worthless treasure. True worth is only measured not by what you got, but what you got in your heart. You can have everything, but what does it mean? It all means nothing if you don't stand up for something. You can't just talk that talk. You got to walk that walk. Yes, you do. And it all means nothing if you don't stand up for something. And I'll stand up for you. And I'll stand up for you. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. As a social worker and as a Black woman, I will always stand up for injustice. What are you standing up for?